This story comes from Reddit user SpinachEPuff88. We're just going to call him Jake. Part of Jake's childhood is spent in a small Arizona town called Topeka, a few hours from Death Valley and Area 51. So he has seen some crazy crap that he still can't explain to this day. When he was in middle school, probably about 12 or 13 years old, he and his friends are constantly bored and looking for things to do. One day, a friend tells him, "Hey, there's this creepy abandoned house with weird stuff inside. We should go check it out." That sounds like a blast. So after school, Jake and some of his friends, maybe 5 of them, all around the same age, head over to this abandoned house. The initial impression is ominous, even in the middle of the day with the desert sun. It's still pretty creepy. The one-story house is just surrounded by dirt, which isn't really all that unusual for a house being kind of out of town, but it is a mess. Missing tiles on the roof, completely dirty, and all the windows and the front door are boarded up. But they managed to find a hole in the front between 2 boards, so they all kind of slide in through there. The first room is really dark, but not pitch black. It's a kitchen covered in dirt, completely empty, except for a cardboard box overflowing with broken dolls. The really nice ones that are made out of porcelain. One in particular has a broken eye that makes Jake feel like it's staring into his soul. So that just puts him a little on edge. Now there's a room to the right that's pitch black, and a living room with daylight to the left. Nobody had thought to bring a flashlight, and cell phones aren't a thing yet, so they all choose to go left. The living room is very well lit. There are paper curtains that are faded to like a brownish yellow, and it has a complete set of furniture, including a TV. And then there's another room to the left. It's a bedroom that has a full-size bed completely made with a comforter and pillows. And Jake, all of a sudden, is terrified for a moment, thinking that they've broken into somebody's actual house. So he double checks with his friend. "Nobody lives here, right?" And his friend says, "Nobody has lived here for over a year." And Jake's looking around the bedroom, and he finds 2 really big scrapbooks on a nightstand. And since the bedroom is really creeping him out, he takes them out to the living room to look through them. At this point, half the group goes outside to check out a dugout basement on the other side of the house. So Jake starts looking at these scrapbooks. One of them is just huge and is entirely full of pictures of one dog, a border collie. There's no owner in any of the pictures, just the dog. Multiple pictures on each page, and it's got like 30 pages. The other book is about the same thickness, maybe even a little bit bigger, and is filled with news clippings about UFO sightings and encounters. Now, Jake's mind is having trouble processing and is trying to find a link between these 2 books when someone calls him from the kitchen to check out the dugout outside. He drops the books and goes outside to see what could be even weirder than these scrapbooks. About 15 feet from the house is a rectangle, maybe 6 by 10, of thin wood boards with a dug-in staircase to the side and small satellites on the ground all over it, with cords leading under the cover. The whole structure looked like a hair could collapse it. So instead of trying to go in, they all take turns lying in the dirt and poking their heads inside. Now they only have the light from the opening to see what's inside, but they can see it's kind of like a dugout bunker, entirely made of dirt with wooden shelves built in. A small table lies to the right with a bunch of radios and stereos on it, all covered in dust. On the shelves are mason jars caked with dirt, but with visible liquid at the tops of the jars near the lid. Jake's dying to know what is in those jars, but all they can do is guess. And as usually the case with teenage boys, they all get bored pretty quick and they decide to head to the park. But they all agree to come back the next day. Jake doesn't go the next day, but instead goes the day after. And by then, the group heading out there has doubled in size. But when they get there, the entire place is roped off with caution tape. And there are 4 men wearing black suits with white shirts and wearing sunglasses talking amongst themselves. The boys are totally tripping. First off, suits in 100+ degree weather, and they have all seen the Men in Black movies with Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones. They know talking to the men is probably not the best idea, so they turn around and head home for the day. They go back again that weekend to see if anything has changed and arrive to nothing. The house has been completely bulldozed over and the dugout filled in. They all talked about it for years afterward, but Jake still doesn't know what to think. Maybe the guy got abducted, or maybe he simply knew too much.